Hello and welcome to World Talks. I'm Jakub Kaprzewski and we're recording in Sopot, a beautiful city on Polish Baltic coast where European Financial Congress, a gathering of top financial executives from the country, is taking place with a major focus on AI. And AI in cybersecurity is one of the topics we would like to talk about with my guest today. Piotr Kostrzewa Zalewski, Director of Innovation and Head of the AI Hub in the bank.
Hello, thanks for having me.
The biggest Polish bank.
True that.
I forgot to add that. I think one of the biggest news when it comes to AI in banking is the limited release of an AI model called Mythos by one of the big American companies doing the stuff, Anthropic. On Wednesday, a news broke out that Anthropic is actually in talks with some European partners concerning the release of Mythos in a limited, probably, way to them. Something that Washington has been, I'm saying Washington because it's the State Department, Defense Department, has been very reluctant to do so. Mythos is supposedly able to look for exploits in software, and this also includes banking software. So my first question for a guy who had cybersecurity in a very big Polish retail bank is, does the threat of Mythos give you sleepless nights?
So, to be entirely honest, all the market knew that it's going to happen. Mythos is something which is somewhat disclosed. There are also third parties that can have the same kind of technology, and they're not revealing that. And
that's the real threat, right?
And as a, I'm not exactly a cybersec guy. I'm leading AI Hub, so we look at it as what changes in terms of cybersec, right? What changes in cybersec is the speed of attacks and the industrial scale. So before we had teams of people who were working to find vulnerabilities, exploit them, and attack. Now you can probe in real time, all the time. You don't eat, you don't sleep, you do it all the time. And then we are very much serious about Mythos and similar software, because
I think people do not realize this is exactly the threat. Like previously, the fact that you had to gather a team of skilled people and for them to look for loopholes and then to actually write software that is going to exploit them, this took months and years. And this was like first firewall for every cybersecurity expert, the fact that a lot of work has to be put in to actually find a loophole. But given the industrial scale, so the automatization that AI agents will bring to this process, this is the real threat, and people don't realize that.
So exactly. So our cybersecurity colleagues, they're always mentioning this thing about how much time since day one till exploit, right? And this time reduces constantly each year. So we see, and then Mythos, and again, what even the other models that are allowing us to test the software, find the exploits, because that's model capability. They are literally one of the biggest threats that we recognize for past, I think, 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. What changed a bit the dynamic, and then everyone, when you're talking about sleepless nights, that's kind of obvious, is that everyone actually is demonstrating some sort of anxiety and withholding the model within Glasswing project, within a certain limited amount of companies that can actually use it. So for us, for example, what is important is to actually either lay hands on Mythos itself and allowing our red teams to leverage that and to see how serious is the threat. But before even we doing that is probing our defenses and testing them ourselves with, let's say, relevant kind of solution, kind of model. Because, for us, like we were...
So are you using kinda AI software to probe your systems right now?
So
because it doesn't have to be Mythos, it can be like a less capable model.
What I can say is that our partners and Polish companies are one like of the top-notch in the world. They definitely leverage cutting-edge technologies, including AI. That's one thing. Second thing is I wouldn't like to kind of comment on the methods that we do, because clear solution. My cyber colleagues also keep me kind of in the dark, which is, again, a good rule for security people. But definitely, we're looking to treat Mythos and related technologies as serious as any threat in the past, but the time and the scale is what we are concerned. So there's no way we're gonna defend ourselves without AI solutions in cybersecurity too. So the scale is one thing of attack, and then scale of defense. There's, like, I think this is kind of arms race, and the most important part is that we don't slow down. We don't say, okay, it's non-existent, we don't know yet. No, we have to be probing, and we have to be talking with the best possible technologies providers in the world to actually work with us and partner with us to provide proper security layers against cyber threats that are originating from AI.
So the very threat of AI means that you need to look at AI as a possible solution and implement it into the process.
It's mandatory. It's not possible.
Okay. We know that last week a very important meeting has been convened in Europe. European Central Bank is taking the threat of Mythos very seriously. They were trying to get their hands on. They've been in communication with Washington and with Anthropic for European or Eurozone banks, to be precise, because ECB, of course, oversees Eurozone banks, and we don't have Euro in Poland yet. So there was a meeting, and according to Reuters and other media reports, a representative from an American unnamed bank was present, and he gave a presentation because some American banks have been included in this limited release. So they know something about the model's actual capabilities. So there was a presentation. Are you guys in talk with your colleagues in Eurozone when it comes to the threat of an AI, or is it like a more siloed experience, every man for himself?
So as a hub we are, and I wouldn't only talk about Eurozone actually colleagues. I think it's a global issue, and that shows that in terms of cybersec, the collaboration is like cross-Atlantic. Asia steps in. We all have the same concern, like to protect our clients' money, data, and then business continuity. Right? This is like the holy triad of what we're trying to do, and the main important thing is sharing what we can, which is policies, understanding, and experiments, because this is all experiments. This is a new technology for potential attackers, and this is new technology for us. The threat was known, the mitigation plans are in place, but still educating our analysts, our security teams, is something that we bet on most. You've
mentioned mitigation plans. So for how long you guys had those in place?
So if you look at...
I mean, how much forward you need to think in banking cybersecurity?
So, okay, in general, cybersec in banking has been the largest spending cybersecurity in any industry. We've been securing our clients' money, I mean, all the digital footprint that we have for past 20 years, and investments were substantial, massive. So threats of Gen AI in terms of leveraging this for finding vulnerabilities and exploiting them is known for like past 5, I think 7 years even, because machine learning also allowed certain attack vectors. Right. So basically it's on the radar. What really changes is the scale and the compute and the capability of the model, and that's when Mythos information was released. Everyone was okay, now it is happening, right? But a lot of mechanisms that are in place are in place. However, without testing, we won't know. So I think every bank in Eurozone, in Asia, in US, and Latin America, Africa, whatever the continent is working right now to have their hands on either model or understanding exactly how this probing would look like, and how secure we are now. It doesn't mean how secure we are tomorrow, and what are the tools, and that's the most thing I would like to kind of underline. The highlight is, what are the tools, the AI tools that we have to deploy to limit the impact of constant probing. And we've been constantly probed for past, again, 15 years. The attacks on the banks, they happen all the time. And so far, we were able to work, perfectly almost for the security of our clients' asset. There was no major breach in banking for the past 30 years, and I think it's going to stay that way, but substantial spending is required, upskilling, working, and very open stance towards technology.
Do you think that with Mythos we look at cybersecurity apocalypse? Because it's very easy just to go, oh my God, there's this model, it's going to automate everything, looking for loopholes, oh my God, that's apocalypse. Or wouldn't you go as far and said, listen, because of the way the banking systems are structured, there are some very robust defenses, some systems are offline, some systems are online, so a total attack and collapse of the system is impossible due to the fact how the thing itself is structured.
So if attack can be industrialized, defense can be industrialized, and when you say apocalypse, I'm like, things might happen. Ukrainian banks survived the war, massive cyber attack. Of course, Gen AI then, now, different kind of level of, let's say, advancement. But still, I'd say there is a risk. The risk is serious. We are very serious about it. But we have been also playing a lot of defenses in place. And if we are working to test and a transparent way of working, so we're not saying it's non-existent threat, I think we're good to go to really build this another, let's say, generation of security.
Okay. Do you think that Mythos is only a first step? So this is just one of the steps, and in 3-4 years' time, Mythos-like models will be widely available for the bad guys and also for the good guys. Do you think that this technology will progress forward?
When you say 3-4 years, it kind of exceeds my horizon of prediction, I must say, to be entirely honest. If I'd asked you 4 years ago, if you will consult your day to work.
You need to plan ahead, mitigation plans, couple of years.
Okay, one thing is, it's easy to think about worst case scenario for a bank because it is, compromising again our either financials of our clients or our clients' data or business continuity. That's easy to foretell that if this happens, we're out of business. So we have to secure that. Now, what will happen in AI, how far we will get in models capability, how they will assist humans in creative thinking, that's, I think, for now beyond, I would call it foretelling, actually, it's not prediction. But to your point, I think what matters is that definitely models will be more capable, more creative, and we will get more advanced in layering them. So different models doing different things. You don't always want a model to be creative. You don't always want the model to be super thorough. Sometimes you need a super deterministic way of addressing things. So what I want to say is, in the nutshell, models definitely will be very powerful tools available both to attackers and defenders. So with that, it's, again, money, capability, skill set, and understanding of threats, and very, very open testing. There's no better test and no better way to improve your security than constant testing. Whatever you assume, you're already in the problem.
Piotr Kostrzewa Zalewski, Director of Innovation and Head of AI Hub at PKO BP, the biggest Polish bank. Thank you very much.
Likewise, thank you.
And you've been watching World Talks, and stay tuned for more of our coverage of the European Financial Congress. My name is Jakub Kaprzewski. Goodbye.